All right, all you devils out there. Happy Friday. Here we are, the 9th here of April. It's a little afternoon here for me in Austin. So we got a pretty meaty count here to dive into. Now, before we do that here, I got to comment on this because I've had several people writing us saying, hey, what happened to that free Discord, that quick access link that used to be underneath the videos? Well, we can't post that anymore. We're getting blasted with Discord bots that were putting in a bunch of bogus accounts. So we have to pull that. So it's back to old school. All right. So if you'd like to join us in the Discord and take advantage of the free membership and get access to the white belt and just kind of get a feel for the community, you're going to have to do it on the website, as it always used to be. I mean, it couldn't be any more drop dead simple. Just select free. That'll drop you in. Now, that'll put you into the Discord where the first thing you're going to see is how to create your account on the website, because that's where the white belt is. Now, you will, within the Discord, you're going to have access to a number of channels and all the TA. You get early release on that. So, for example, this as soon as I'm done with this video, gets posted up to anyone who's in the Discord. Otherwise, it comes out typically around 5:30. But you go through here the little check boxes so you can see what you get access to. You're going to get the Elliott Wave cheat sheets. You're going to get, of course, access to the introductory course. That's the white belt. The deep dive analysis, the public videos here. I mean, it's quite a bit. And this is a very common progression. People will come in, they'll start with the white belt, get a feel for the vibe of it, how we teach, the community, and then if they want to go from white to blue, well, that's the step up to educational where you can go get access to the higher belts. But there are others that just say, hey, well, I'm going to kind of take my time, and going into social, this is still very full featured. It's everything but the upper belts. Right? So you get access to all the trading rooms, everything that we're doing. It's pretty much full access to the entire community with the exception of those upper belts. Right? So you've got a couple of choices here that we think it's good value for someone who really wants to work on their TA skills, right? So just a reminder here, it's all done over on the website at tradedevils.com. Okay, so with that said, now we're going to dive into this here, and I'm going to just highlight while the count here continues to be bullish. There are a couple of red flags here. So, and we've talked about this for the last couple of weeks, that this is the proposed wave 4. If this is the 3 high off of the COVID low, which it would be a monster rip. The length of time of the 4 makes an Elliottician a little ill at ease because it's such a short period of time, and it would be relatively so shallow. Now we had a very shallow 2. I mean, if I pull this back here, we had a very shallow 2. Did not take a lot of time. If indeed this is how we're going to end up labeling this. So the 4 relative to the 2. It's a little bit of a sphincter clench, right? So the potential for this to come down, right? Maybe there's a triangle, or you don't want to project too much here other than what's in front of you. But I just want you to be aware of this. I've got many members here that are just very uncomfortable up here because of that length of time. Now that said, I think more troubling because it's a bit of a squeeze, right? So if you were trying to work this as a triangle, this is kind of where you are, right? It's not quite right. Now if this comes down a little bit lower, maybe, but as you guys will hear me say often, while the Elliott Wave analysis can guide us here, again, it's number 3 on the list of priorities. Number 1 with a bullet is always, what did this algorithm do last? Right, so we can see it here. Swing, retrace to the 50. Swing, retrace to the golden zone. Swing, retrace as a front run on the 50. Right, so we can see the algo working in, whether you're looking at past data or in real time. You see it happening. I mean, we track it down on the micro tick charts in the futures markets every day. Right, I mean, it is the dominant algorithm in the market. So you have to know what it did last. Now, on the bullish side of the street here, the benefit we have as we sit here, there's no algo resistance up here. So you can see it here. So I mean, even if you just take the last, oh shit, I got the wolf on here. So if you put the from the last swing low, right, we've broken through here. So there is no algo resistance up here. None. Zip. Zero. So this is free to fly. So now, having said that, we got to just be a little bit careful up here, right? So because it feels like everybody's so sure we're going to 100,000 or beyond sometimes you want to just kind of pull back here and say, okay, let me look at this a little bit differently. So I kind of look at this and I go, okay, if I just kind of map this out right here. Here I've just got a bunch of congestion here, and while the market has, if you will, kind of poked its head out of here, it's not sustaining. Now, for us to do it here, if this is going to hold as a proposed 2, we got to get out of here and leave this in the past. We can't hover here for too long, or the if you will, a bit of gravity here is likely to pull us down. We got to get legs and get out of here sometime soon. Now, a lot of people tell you, if Bitcoin's going to go sideways, that frees up the alts to push. Maybe, but right, what you don't want is Bitcoin's selling off, right? It's never good for the entire space, right? But if it's going to just kind of slowly grind higher, that can be very good for the alts. If it rips higher, ideally, if it rips higher, that will pull some of the alts with it. But depend if you're in a spread against Bitcoin, right? That'll crush many of those spreads. So you just want to be careful up here. I want to see this level. As it's being tested here. Now we're already underneath it here. We're testing the Vegas wave here. You want to see this hold. So ideally, if we're going to come out of here. If this is the 1-2, we got to get out of here, right? But you can anticipate some sort of a retest, whether it's here or at some point. We got to leave this consolidation behind and push on further. And it's a little bit tenuous up here. And again, it's just the general. Bitcoin's never going to sell off. It's only up here that makes me a little bit cautious, right, amongst members as I have this dialogue with, whether it's group or individual. Now, the one of the cautionary note here, which I will bring to your attention, which, many of you, perhaps you follow Dave the Wave over on Twitter. He's pretty well-known crypto analyst here out at the macro view. So I would give him credit here. He pointed this out, and he's been trumpeting this all week. Now, here, I'm out to the weekly on Bitcoin. You got a little bit here. This is my adding to what he's noted here, and that is that out on the weekly, we've had the MACD crossover. Now, that unto itself would give you pause, right? So we can look here, right? So a cross doesn't necessarily mean the bull run is over, right? We can see there are crosses here. I mean, here this was dramatic, right? And we crossed here. So it's not by itself enough for me to go, oh, fuck, I'm selling everything. But I will say this, see, one thing is never enough for me. I got to have confluence here. Well, I've got some confluence here. So in addition to the MACD cross on the weekly, there's a couple of things here to note. First off, if I just look here and I'm using the wolf range here, right? So range expansion, right? So I'm using, now, first thing to note here, I am in log scale, right? So given our range, makes sense. We're in log scale. Okay, so here the 18 push up to this, which is the proposed 1 ABC into the 2 if we're simplifying. Well, we have now done, oh shit, I can't do it. Can't do it in log scale. We've now done exactly this magenta line here, which you can see is tagged, is exactly in log scale a doubling of that range. Right? I mean, it's to the tick. Now, that unto itself, you might say, okay, well, I'm paying attention. Now I got the MACD crossing. I've got perfect range expansion. It's literally to the tick 100%. Now, what else is there? Well, it took a little digging here, but now if I take this swing here, right, so if I take this swing and I start to retrace, now I've gone exactly, the gold line here is exactly, you can just barely see it, 618, right? The negative, if I'm going back this way, I'm 618 on my way towards 100. So here would be the 100. Right? Here's 618. We tagged that. Look, it's literally on top. You're starting to stack, right? You're starting to stack some confluence there. Now, again, doesn't mean the top is in and we're off now to back down to 2000. Just a point of caution here that if we start to accelerate lower, we might be back here saying, okay, well, we can understand why, right? It's always a question. Why does it stop there? Right? Why does it stop here? Why does it stop here? Well, why do we stop here? Right? It's always the question that I'm asking before I enter any trade, or if I'm looking at a retracement or a target. Why do we stop there? Right? One thing for many, I'm coming up on 30 years of doing this. There are no random pivots, not of significance, right? There's always something there, right? And it can take you, it can take you an hour to find it, but there's very rarely do you have a non-technical pivot that's significant here. So now we got a pretty good stack here. I got the 618 from this swing. I got perfect 100%, and I got a MACD cross. So just to keep that in mind, that if this is going to turn into, oh shit, we can do it, some sort of a triangle along these lines here, we end up with something like this. If it's going to roll over here, well, then of course we're going to start looking for where are we likely to. Oh God, never the first click. Where are we going to find some potential support? 39, well, that seems like a long way down, right? We're pushing 60 up here. I have you can see my little alarm here is at 65,504. I want to see it get up over that and close, and I sure would like to see this cross back above, right? To avoid the idea that we're just going to chop here for a while or potentially be vulnerable to a sell-off to the next level of support. So not losing my bullish enthusiasm, just not trading like a blind bull, right? Be aware of what's happening out on the larger time frames. Now, right, so with that said, right, nothing says we can't just blow right through here, right? We're off to the negative, to the 200, right, 300, right? So here's 113, right? Here if we're going to do 200, right, this range expansion, put a shut. Oh shit, pardon me. That's 278, right? So if we're going to get to I forgot we're on the log scale. So this is over 1 million here, right? So if we're going to go up and get 300% of this range, well, right, things are going well for bulls, right? So again, I just drawing it to your attention. All right, let's go back to our count here and see if we can factor any of this in with what we're looking at right now. Does it fit? Does it make sense? But bottom line here, is the Elliott helping us analyze what's likely to come next? Well, okay, so let's back up a little bit here. So we're working off of multiple algo swings here. So the 50 here, golden zone here. This looks like a front run on the 50. Now I put this geometry back on just as a reminder here that so we get a perfect shift pitchfork here. We come down. Yes, we break it just a tad on our way to tag the golden zone here. So our running parallel here. Remember, in a correction, I always want to start with the shift pitchfork to look for just that, right? Can I find a technical pivot here? I don't mind the break because I understand the break, right? So we're finishing the 5 down here, and it's a slight front run on the golden zone. Up we go. Now, just as a reminder, we've got this nice cluster up here. So this 50 has a target here. This golden zone has a target here. Right now, we've got additional targets here we're going to stack onto this. So I don't see any reason as we look down here on a 60-minute to shy away from the idea that we can break higher just yet, right? Now, having said that, right, having the cautionary note been established over here, if we look at the count, this phenomenon is not going to keep me from continuing to buy retracements that are technical until they fail. Now, if they start to fail, okay, well, again, there's your trading Bitcoin, and there's your long-term, keep it in cold storage Bitcoin that nobody has access to other than you, right? So I'm trying to make that distinction between the two. If this is your trading Bitcoin here, where maybe you're playing with a little bit of leverage, well, you sure as hell got to have a point where you say, okay, my analysis is incorrect, something else is happening, I'm out of the market, I'll accept my loss. Ideally, it's not a massive loss here, despite if you're trading with leverage here. But you've got a clear point where you know this analysis is incorrect. So let's be clear about that. That has to be first and foremost in your mind. Because what's so common with new traders is they're focused on, God damn, look how much I can make if that pops, right? And they kind of eyeball, well, if I lose here, well, you know, right, that'd be a bummer here. But, you know, they don't really, it's never first and foremost, what's the first thought? How much could I lose if I'm wrong? It's, you know, and it's just human nature, right? I understand it, right? Just having done this again for a long time, I've been that guy. Oh, fuck, man, look how much I can make if that goes, right? You're already spending the money. What am I going to do with that money once that hits, right? Just be careful of that, right? In fact, as soon as you find yourself thinking that, I go to double check my stop, make sure everything's tight here. Wait, am I sure here? Do I like this? Well, let's just dig in here. So if this is going to hold as our 4 right now, a lot of my team here disagree with me here because it looks like you can trade, and we talked about this last week. It looks right at a distance like it's a 3. But I beg to differ. I think the subdivision plays just beautifully, particularly the last 5 that finishes. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 1, 3 into a 2. And we talked about this last week. Let's zoom in here a little bit more. All right, it's a little, all right, that's not an easy count to get your arms around here, but we finish with a diagonal. We come right down to the golden zone. Remember, Elliott is third. What's first? What did the algo do last? What's second? Geometry. How's the geometry look here? Well, I've got a perfect tag here of my shift pitchfork. Rip, what, can I get that into an impulse? Well, it's not an easy count. I gotta move you off just a touch to get the, to get that 2 in there. So it looks like we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into, right? So I had several people asking me for the count here. It looks like we've got an extension in the 1. Now, part of the reason I back into that because I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get a skinny 2, but then I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, come down, the 1 does not overlap, right? So this is a strong candidate, and it's really close, right? Look at the Vegas wave right there. Tags the Vegas wave, but does not overlap that 1. There's the 4. Now, this is kind of funky, but you can get it. There's your 5. Okay, so we left it last week, right? The whole premise of the video last week was, well, it's a kind of a wobbly 1, but yeah, I can get it to work, right? Without really a hideous force fit. I can get a clean impulse into that. Okay, so if it comes down in 3, I want to be paying attention. Right, now it's right, how many of you took it, right? I mean, I literally put it on a plate for you. Okay, so if it comes down in 3 and we start to get a reaction there, all right, I mean, I can't cut it and chew it for you, right? I can put it on the plate and serve it up. Now, yeah, a little bit of a front run. But boy, once it started to go, right? I mean, look at the RSI. Right, here are the MACD crosses. Here we get a little volume comes in. I mean, there was plenty here. There was enough here to say, okay, well, maybe you didn't get the corner or the pivot because you were waiting. You were waiting for the tag, the 50. Right? Anytime we're approaching a 50 or a golden zone, you have to be prepared for the front run, right? They're going to do that. They do that deliberately, right? To leave you going, oh, fuck, man, I was right. I missed it by, $100. I was going to get that. I didn't get filled. Well, you got to be prepared. If it starts to go, we go down to a 15-minute, right? Boom, boom, right? You had the retrace, right? So you could have traded that. Here's your stop. Here's the retrace. I mean, again, it's not rocket science. Okay. Oh, shit, I missed that one. Oh, maybe I'll get a retrace. Up it goes, right? So you got the nice 3. Now, it's just a little funky down here, but you can see. So if you work backwards here, here's the 5, here's the 4, here's the 3, right? We work back this. Should probably count that a couple of different ways. Whether this is the 1, looks like you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 5 will be your shortest. Kind of same kind of thing. It's swing retrace, swing retrace, swing retrace, swing retrace, swing retrace. Higher highs, higher lows, right? It's definition of a trend. It's not that difficult, right? It's just not that hard to grab that. Okay, as long as we stay in this channel. Shit, fuck, I haven't even checked that, but that looks like it's a 50 to the tick, right? Here's your first target, second target. Are we going to get third? Well, it looks like the top's already in, but you don't know. We could pop here. It'll be a shallow 2. Right, if you miss this one, right, so that one looks like it went 707. Oh, right. So if you took that and you got stopped out here, right, for whatever reason, you go to the next one, 50 to the tick. All right, it's the same thing when they're failing. If one fails and we get another push, well, the next, so that would have had you thinking it was a diagonal. I think at this point we can get that into an impulse. Either way, it's impulsive, right? We're advancing the trend. What do we run into? Kind of a high volume note here. Let me get back to a 60. I rarely go down to that level unless I'm trying to dig out a count, right? Just to be clear about it. Okay, so we got a nice little channel, and if this is going to come down and break, which is at this point is what you're anticipating, right? It's exactly where we were last week. Well, if this comes down in a 3, boy, I want to be paying attention. Well, okay, so contender here for an impulsive 1. So back it up, right? What do we got? 1, 2, 1, 2. Potentially now 1, 2. Right? The more 1, 2s you stack, the higher the targets go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. right? So if this is going to hold, what we're trying to do, remember, right? This is the wild card. If this is going to hold as our 4, well, this structure needs to continue to carry on. So if that's the 4, well, this is the 1, 2 of the 5. Well, shit, right? You don't know for sure. I mean, this could be the 1, 2 of the 1 of the 5, right? I mean, if we're going up to some of these targets, it certainly could be, right? So it could be the 1, 2 of the 1 of the 5. But right now, right, there's no reason to be that, crazy bullish. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's just deal with what's in front of us. 1, 2, 1, 2. Candidate, right? 1, 2. I mean, the ABC here is, I don't think we have to dispute that. We know we can't have a triangle here. So if it's 1, 2, now if this comes down again, well, what you'd like to see to confirm it, you'd like to get this broken, right? You'd like to get that broken here. Well, ideally, you'd break that, right? So you want to eliminate that possibility here that this is going to be a 1. Oh, shit. You could do it 1, 2, 3 deep. So it looks something like this, right? We want to eliminate the possibility that we get another one of these, right? Where we have this giant 4. I mean, 1, 2, 3 could be, right? And this could be an ABC of a 1 of a diagonal. There's all sorts of combinations that are potentially there. And that can be, so often, when members are sending me content or we're doing the poll and I'm reviewing your content, you're projecting too much into it. What's right in front of you? I've got an impulse and I've got a correction that comes in a 3. Now I've got another impulse. Do I have a 3 here? Well, not much of one. Right? It looks about like what you had here, right? We're looking for more subdivision here at the 60-minute. So, right, so I'm kind of assuming I don't need to spend a lot of time on this in terms of what to anticipate next, right? We're looking for a 2. Now, Bitcoin doesn't always give you a 50 to a golden zone, right? Sometimes impatient market, it'll just keep rolling. I mean, look here, right? That's the 2 here. We get the extension in the 1. Shallow 2. Right? Barely make between the 23 and the 38. 3, 4, 5. But I get it done. A, B, C, and a 3. So I'm up in a 5. I correct in a 3. Now I'm up in a 5. Do I have a 3? Oh, not yet. Right? But looks like I'm working on one. Now if I get that, look what's right here. You got structure. Right? Pull it across here. High volume node. What are we after there? So this would be the 1, potentially now, the 1 of the 2 of the 3. So this would be the 1, 2 of the 3rd of the 3rd. Right? I know it gets a little tricky, so it's always easier when you're doing it yourself rather than watching me. But right now, 1, 2. If you get that, I mean, I'd like to think you wouldn't hesitate there. You don't need to risk down to this pivot or this pivot. That's just a trade here. Right? We're not trying to get positioned for the next massive bull run. We're trying to trade the micro swings. Well, I guess at a 60 we'll call them the micros. Right? It's a little small swing here. So if I can get this in a 3, of course, well, if I get it in a 3, what do I get there? Right? If I get a 3 and I hit that golden zone, well, potentially just another golden corner. Right? If I get that, if right now I don't have it yet, let me tighten this up a little bit. Get on there. Okay, so, right, but we did the same thing last week, right? Just like this here, be prepared for a front run. If it starts to go and you're like, oh shit, I'm not sure, but well, with number 1, can you finish the C in 5? If you can, maybe you don't take the full load here, but you just take a bite here. If I get that retrace and we start to go, okay, well now I can go again. Or if I'm not sure, let's take the perfect 50. I mean, what'd you get there? From 56.3 to 50, almost 60. These pay off. Right now, you don't careful about the leverage, right? You see this all the time as the leverage gets blown up as these things come down, right? You see it all the time, right? Just be careful about it. You don't need to do that, right? And maybe not in Bitcoin. All right, so nothing shit. For all we know, the 2 is in here, right? But it doesn't have the good separation here. It doesn't have this nice, clean subdivision that makes this a much easier trade to take than, are we done here? That looks like that's just the start of the A wave going in. So for me, I would not be a buyer here. That's just not, it's not good enough. But I'm sure going to pay attention down here. if, right? If it's offered, right? You never know. I mean, this one could still be going, right? We don't know that that's the top. It could be, right? There's a count here that would support it, but shit, this could be, right? Don't assume anything. Let the market prove it to you. So if we're coming down here, heads up, right? Try and put together a stack of confluence, just like I'm trying to show you guys how to do it. Okay, so look left. What's left? How about the volume profile? What else is there that I can lean into? Well, of course, we do have, so let's see, let me hide this one. Let me hide that one. Oh, shit, I know I've got another one in here. Oh, there's that. Oh, shit, no, I'm not going to find it. Yeah, but we got this one. Okay, so this is the one we don't have yet, right? We just potentially now. So look where that lines up if this comes in. Right, so we're working off of a corner here, right? So it's not a golden, but we're right at the 50, so we'll take a golden pocket right here. Pardon me. A corner pocket right here. There's our target, right? Here's the swing, here's the 50, here's the target, right? You can always go out to the edge to see it. There's the target. Well, what if this plays as 1, 2, if this holds as the 1, that negative 100 is going to be the 1618, right? If we come here. So you can kind of map the thing out and say, okay, if, right? I don't know, but if this comes, boy, I want to be long there. But I'm not going to put my stop down here. Let's not be retarded. Well, I shouldn't say that. Let's use our brain here. All right, so if this is the 2, I'm looking for the 3, right? 4, 5. But what would that be, right? If you got that, so let's just map that out. What would that be? If this is 1, 2, 4, 5, okay? Not likely to be the 3 of this 1, 2. I mean, could be, right? If we're going to have, if the extension is going to be in the 1, we're going to have a shallow 3 and then a near. I mean, it could be, right? It could be. But what's more probable is that's the 1 of the 3. Again, the more 1, 2s we put in, the higher the targets go. So as you sit here right now going, okay, just like we did a week ago, well, what's the next trade? Right? I was kind of making light of it, saying, well, oh, fuck, you guys don't care about the Elliott, right? So a lot of you YouTubers, right, don't care about that. Just get me to where the next opportunity is. Well, members and people that are studying here, well, okay, I hope you got that, because that was not that difficult. I think if it comes in a 3, take. All right, so if this comes in a 3, all right, now, sooner or later, one of them's going to fail, right? I mean, so don't go, oh, shit, I didn't take that one he told me to. I didn't take that one he told me to. I'm going to take this one, and it does that, right? So, you just, again, you got to put a stop on it, right? Because one of them's going to fail, right? But all that does is, that's not necessarily, so yeah, you take a small loser. Okay, welcome to the game, right? So you take a small loser, right? Don't let it get away from you. You take the small loser, and then you reevaluate. So what does that do? If we break this pivot or any of these pivots, it's just giving us more information. Okay, shit. So if it's not that, what could it then be? So the market breaking a pivot or breaking structure like this or breaking a sequence here of measured moves here is not necessarily bad news. Yeah, the loss stings, right? Nobody likes it, but again, you better get used to it because it's going to happen to you way more than you're going to have winners. So accept it, embrace it. Thank you. Thank you. My stop did its job. That's the way I think of it. Thanks for keeping me out of something really that could have hurt me. Reevaluate. What's next? If it's not that, then what could it be? I'm gonna do it in 28 minutes. I don't think there's much more I can add here, right? So you're just sitting here kind of waiting. But I want to see this break out of this. All right, it all kind of comes back to where we started here. I want this, we got to get out of here. Yeah, okay, nice start, we're back in. Okay, maybe we're back in. Looking good, we're back in. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. And then if we get something like this, because what you want is to see it get tested from above, right? That's there, right? That's the one you want. So we're retesting this because there'll be a bunch of traders that'll be long down here, right? So we're going to test this, right? Is there going to be supply to come in here? Breakout traders, right? They're already long, right? Oh shit, I don't want. Oh, I'm worried. Uh-oh, come down here, right? If that holds, now we know where we. Right? Again, just more confirmation. Nothing says that he couldn't do that, right? Don't misunderstand me. But at least now, again, probabilities increase. That's all we ever get. I remind you of that damn near every video. There's no certainty. There's no guarantees. Nobody knows where it's going. I do not know where it's going. I'm just laying out a potential roadmap. And if I see that get tested and it holds, nice high volume note here, then I buy this with comfort. Again, I put a stop on it, but I'm not afraid of it. Scared money, right? I say this in the futures room often, right? Nervous money, scared money almost always loses because you're emotional about it, right? You can't trade with money that you're just saying, oh fuck this, it has to be a winner. It has to be a winner. As soon as that enters your mind, I can almost fucking guarantee you it'll be a loser. You can't think that way. You can't trade that way. You can't trade with fear. Don't misunderstand me, because I'll often say the trade that you're nervous about as you come down here, like, oh, it's going down, right? If you're uncomfortable there, wait for the reaction. Then take the little baby, right? Then take the little one, because that, right, it's just going to do this. The pattern just repeats over and over and over again. Sometimes with more complexity, sometimes it's drop dead simple. Sometimes you're not quite sure. God, is that enough time? But look what came off of it. Is that enough? Oh, right at the golden zone. Look what came off of it. Oh, I thought it was going to keep going. Scared money never profits, right? You can be a little at ease, because what I'm always trying to teach you is you're trying to buy it when it's coming down, or sell it, right? If it's a downtrend, we're trying to sell it when it's going up, right? So it's counterintuitive. So it's just natural for your emotions to say, "Fuck, man, it's going down. I don't want to buy that. Right? That's what retail does, right? We don't want to duplicate retail. It's coming down. Oh shit, it's coming down. I can't buy that. It's coming down. I can't buy that. It's coming down." Don't trade like retail, right? So Elliott Wave is really just mapping out what the crowd is doing. Who's the crowd? Right? That's not the professionals. What's the crowd doing? Waiting till it's safe. Waiting till it's safe. Waiting till it's safe. Oh, I can't buy this. I'm gonna wait until we break that pivot. Oh, I can't buy this. It's coming down. I'm going to wait till it breaks that pivot. I'm going to wait till it breaks that pivot. Oh, I can't buy this. It's coming down. I'm going to wait till it's safe. Right? That's a recipe for ruin. My view, my opinion, right? There's shit. Don't blast me, breakout traders. If you're doing well, I'm happy for you, right? But the methodology we teach is we buy things on sale. We don't pay full retail. All right, guys, there you go. Have a good weekend. We'll be back to revisit this. Members, of course, we'll be back with a review of your alts. Although we are looking at as this month progresses here, we start doing that in a live stream format. A number of reasons, but it'll probably be towards the end of the month because I've got to move this month. We just bought a new place, so I've got to move in about the third week of this month. So once I get settled into the new place here, then I think that's where we're headed here. So we'll take that all to where we'll live stream it here, and then perhaps some YouTubers will get access to it as well. All right, guys, there you go. Keep in mind, always join us for free over here. Or shit, if you want to come right into educational, don't let me discourage you, right? But you got choices here. If you want to join us and get into this kind of detail, well, you'll be in a community of like-minded traders that will embrace you and challenge you at the same time. All right, guys, have a good weekend. We'll catch you next